am back. Hope you guys are there. Right. So we are going on to our hour of power and what on earth that means. So here, that's what we've just done. Our hour of power. So there's something that a lot of people in business call the hour of power. And what this is a way of setting yourself up for success in your life. Okay, so it's not specific to being in business, it's specific to any kind of success that you want to achieve. And it's a way of basically doing a lot of things to calm your subconscious, focus your consciousness and your subconscious to help you focus and achieve what it is you want to achieve. And there's an acronym that there is that some people use, and this is actually from a book called The 4-Hour Work Week. You don't have to worry about reading that book for now, although it's pretty good. And what he does is he talks about the different things that we need to do every day to get ourselves ready each morning as part of our getting ready. So just like you would have a shower, put your makeup on if you wear makeup, do your hair, clean your teeth, all those kinds of things. This is what you need to do for your brain. So the first thing is to scribe. I'm going to go through these. Second thing is affirmations. The third thing is visualizations. Then we've got exercise. Then we've got reading. And then we've got silence, okay? And he calls them these because he says these are your life savers, okay? Now, there are 6 of these, very conveniently. So if you could spend 10 minutes on each of these, it's 1 hour. And you might have a little heart attack when I say this, but most people recommend that you do this at 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, the reason they say this is it's because it's before the rest of the world is up. And you're pre-programming your brain ready for a day of success. Now, it doesn't have to be 5 o'clock. We'll sneeze. Excuse me. It doesn't have to be 5 o'clock. If you normally get up at 7, could you get up at 6? If you normally get up at 8, could you get up at 7, etc., etc. Now, particularly when you're doing your exams and you're on study leave and you don't have any exams that day, or you don't have it until the afternoon, you don't have to get up at 5 o'clock. You could get up at 9 or something like that. Whatever works for you. You can even do this in the evening. It's just that apparently scientifically the most successful time to do this is 5 a.m. But there we go. So the first thing we're going to look at is scribe. So scribe is a bit like journaling. I don't know if you've heard of this before, but it's basically you write down anything that comes into your head, and you're going to give yourself 10 minutes of this, 10 minutes time, okay? Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a video for you that has some very quiet music that you can either put on silent or you can have it playing while you are scribing, okay? Some people call it journaling, some people call it their pages, some people call it a mind dump, some people call it brainstorming. And the idea is that there's no agenda. The idea is that you are clearing all the chatter in your head. So if I was doing it now, I'd be like, right, okay, Pepsi, cup, computer, hope the kids are enjoying this. Have I spoken to Louise? Must say hello. Yeah, so my brain is going off that. Apologies for the noises if you can hear them because I've got builders in today, I'm afraid. So it's literally, and it doesn't even matter about spelling. You can write it, handwrite it, or you can do it online or on the computer. But you just keep going. You just keep writing whatever comes into your head. It doesn't have to make sense, and you don't. And then all you do is screw it up and put it in the bin when you've finished. And it's a way of clearing all that clutter out of your mind. And it also brings to light the things that you're worrying about, so you can then do something about them if you want to. Affirmations. Okay, so affirmations are really important. And this is something that if you can't do any of the other things, this is the one that I would say would be really useful for you to do. So affirmations are basically a way of reprogramming the negative thoughts we have about ourselves into positive thoughts so that we can actually do better and be happier, more importantly. So what I would say is try not to do more than 3 to 5 at the moment. Let me put that there. 3 to 5 affirmations. And the way you sort your own affirmations is you say to yourself, okay, what is, if I had a little devil on my shoulder that was really horrendous to me, or the little voice in my head that's horrible to me, if you think of like Inside Out, if you've seen that film, think of the little person or one of the little people in there as constantly criticizing you. Oh, what'd you do that for? Oh, well, you're rubbish at English. Oh, well, you're not very good at Shakespeare anyway. And oh, I'm rubbish at this. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I can't do this. All those things. I want you to tap into those, and I want you to write down now 3 to 5 of those. So most common ones are I hate English, I can't do this, I can't remember everything, I can't remember anything. I'm rubbish at Shakespeare. That's a common one. Let's leave it at those 4. Okay. So now we've got that. We're going to do the exact opposite, because what happens is scientifically proven with quantum physics that our brains have a frequency. So just like sound has a frequency and sound waves, the mind and your thoughts also have that. And what it says is that it acts like a bit like a magnet. So whatever you're thinking about, you will attract things that are energetically the same. You will attract things that have the same frequency. So prime example, if you're really down and you walk into a room and everyone's really, really happy, if that overpowering energy is uplifting, you tend to meet that energy. Yeah. So it attracts that. Or it could be that you walk into a room and you're really down and everyone else is really happy. You don't want to be in that room. So you go and find a quieter room. Yeah. Because you're seeking out a similar frequency to you. So unfortunately, we can't make the exam meet your frequency, as in we can't change the exam. But what we can change is your mindset. And the way that we do this is very simple. You're just going to change these to the exact and complete opposite. I love English. I can do this easily. I remember everything easily. And I'm brilliant at Shakespeare. Okay. Now, I know that just by writing this down and saying it to yourself doesn't make it true. And sometimes you'll be saying them to yourself and you'll be like, well, this is a waste of time because just because I say it doesn't make it true. But this combined with your revision means that you're taking action to improve to get to these points. But also you're changing the frequency, and it will take time. But what you need to be doing is putting these up. So type these up, write them up, loads of doodles, make them pretty, make them look fabulous, whatever you want to do, and put it up somewhere that you go to every morning and every night. So either by your bed or on the mirror where you clean your teeth, or next to it. And I want you to say each one of those ones that you've improved, I want you to say them 3 times each, if you can, out loud. I love English. I love English. I love English. I can do this easily. I can do this easily. I can do this easily. I remember everything easily. I remember everything easily. I remember everything easily. I am brilliant at Shakespeare. I am brilliant at Shakespeare. I am brilliant at Shakespeare. And you're going to say it every morning and every night until the end of your exams. Now, after a week, if you consistently do this, I promise you, after 10 years of teaching this as part of my English, those that have done it, I can tell. I can tell instantly those that are doing their affirmations, because their whole demeanor, their mindset, and their frequency is different. And it's because I don't know how it works properly. I don't know the whole physics of it, but there is something that it does to our subconscious. And what that then does is opens our mind up to absorb that information that we need. So if you say to yourself, oh, I can't do that, your brain's job is to protect you, and your brain's job is to agree with you. So it will go, okay. And it won't bother trying to absorb anything, because it's like, yeah, but we can't do this. You told me, body, so we don't do this. Whereas if you say to yourself, I'm brilliant at this, I find this really easy, your brain starts to go, oh, well, what does does that mean? Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I get that. It's really odd how it works. So don't take my word for it. I dare you to prove me wrong. And I'm yet to be proven wrong. So please feel free. So they're your affirmations. So 3 to 5 affirmations contradicting your limiting beliefs, particularly about English or your exams, or if it's a different subject. It doesn't have to be English, obviously. Visualizations. So I'm also going to record a 10-minute visualization of you being in your exam and it going really well, and you walking out of the exam room feeling really happy, then collecting your results. Now, I think you get emailed them now. We used to have to go and physically pick them up. But when you get your email through, think of like looking at it, and you could even type up a fake email, sort of like make believe and sort of play with it, a fake email of what your results might be. Okay. So you could even have a fake email of your results. Okay. And then every day in that 10 minutes, you're going to be looking at that. Now, it's not just looking at it, but I want you to imagine those feelings of achieving those grades. And what will happen is your body will not only be using your mind with your affirmations to change your subconscious to achieve those things, but then your visualizations are going to change the emotional state that's going to help you achieve those things. It's really weird how this works. Okay. So you're going to visualize, and in your visualizing is just closing your eyes and seeing the movie in your head of what you want to see and feeling the things you want to feel. Okay. So imagining the best possible outcome. Okay. And it might be things like you imagine telling your mum and dad what grades you've got, or you imagine, you know, that feeling of what you're going to do afterwards to celebrate. Are you going to go for a meal? Are you going to go all go around your friend's house, or are you all going to, I don't know, whatever? Have something in mind that you want to do to celebrate when you get your results, and if you've done as well as you want to. And then maybe like in your mind think, right, what happens when I do that? What happens when I exceed what I hoped to achieve? Like, how would that make me feel? So if you're currently predicted a 4 and you're working towards a 6, how would you feel if you got a 7 or an 8? And before you go, oh yeah, but I won't. Before you do that, just imagine for a second. Just imagine getting that grade that you think you will never, ever get. Like, how would that feel? What would that do for you? What would that change? Would it change the way people think of you and your family? Or would it make your mum and dad even more proud than they are already? Or would it mean that you can then get the job that you're desperate to get when you're going off and looking into the world of work? Would it mean that it confirms to you that you are worthy of that grade, or you are worthy of all the work that you've done? It was all worth it, you know, all those things. Think of all those feelings and really visualize it. And that's what you're working for. Now, what that does is that ups the motivation naturally. It also makes your brain open to absorbing the information you need when you revise. So it actually allows the brain to intake more information. The next thing we're going to look at is exercise. So this doesn't have to be running a marathon. It could be go for a walk. It could be walk up and down the stairs. 10 minutes, that might be a bit killer. It could be dancing. So 3 tracks, they're about 3 minutes each. 3 tracks, stupid dancing. And what this does is, again, it raises your frequency, it releases oxytocin, and it helps your body feel much more upbeat, much more ready to work, and much more ready to go. It's really, really good for you. So 10 minutes of some form of exercise. You might want to do yoga. If it's first thing in the morning, you might want to do a little yoga or a stretch. You can look on Google. Sorry, I'm actually not going to look on YouTube for 10-minute exercise. Yeah, anything like that. Trying to spell the word stretch properly, shall I? Reading. So reading doesn't have to be tricky, and it doesn't have to be another thing you've got to do on top of your revision. Okay, you can pick something every day. Now, the easiest way to do this is to just Google positive quotes, maybe for exams, or just positive quotes. Okay, just for 10 minutes, you're just going to keep reading through them. So if you go to, I'm going to stop sharing here. If you go to Google, I'm going to go here, share my screen. Okay, so let's go to positive quotes. Let's see if there's one for exams. Okay, and go to images. Look at these. So this is nice and easy reading. You're so close to the victory. Don't you dare give up now. Stay positive, work hard, make it happen. Before anything else, preparation is the key to success. Well, we've done that with our timetables, and you've been doing this on the course. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I love that. Don't stop until you're proud. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. You've got to work for it. Just because the past didn't turn out the way you wanted it to doesn't mean your future can't be better than you imagined. Your positive action combined with positive thinking results in success. Stop being afraid of what could go wrong and think of what could go right. I love that one. Exams are not about who's the best, but about who can handle pressure the best. And this whole system, this hour of power, is about helping you handle the pressure side of things. It's just as important as your revision. Before anything else, preparations key to success. What some of those already. Trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. I love that. That is so true. All of you do know more than you think you do. Believe you can, and you are halfway there. There's another one that's really good. If you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. If you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. And it's basically whatever you believe will come true. Your success and happiness lies in you. Anyone can tell you that you can do it because you can. Study while others are sleeping, work while others are loafing, prepare while others are playing, and dream while others are wishing. That's really great. I wouldn't suggest studying while everybody's sleeping though, because you need your sleep too. That's important. So the idea is that, you know, just 10 minutes of reading through this, like already I feel a little bit like, oh, I quite enjoyed that. Don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. Have a break when you're tired and then stop when you're done. So that's an idea of doing the reading. But there's another thing you can do. I have loads of inspirational books. This is very worn, as you can see this one. Loads of inspirational books here. A friend of mine wrote this, who I went to school with. And although it's a girl's guide to being fearless, you can get it on Amazon. Although it's a girl's guide, it does have a lot of really useful information in there. So whether you're into like needing healing and relaxing and calming stuff, then this is a good one. Healing is the new high. That's quite a good one. Girls Guide to Being Fearless is really good about addressing anything that you need to sort of like have the courage to do stuff. The Slight Edge, I'm going to read from in a minute, and The Chimp Paradox are two of my favorites. And what you can do is you could just Google like inspirational book extract and see what's there, or motivational book extract. And it's not necessarily to get you motivated, but it just naturally will because of what it says. So I'm just going to read to you a bit of The Slight Edge. I love this book because it's about doing things in a really manageable way and about breaking things down, and the fact that if you do a little bit often, you're always going towards your goal. You don't have to wait to do. This is one of the things that I speak to my husband about all the time. Prime example of this, right, is we've been moving house recently, and we've had hundreds, I swear, of boxes, maybe not hundreds, it felt like it. And we started to do it so we cleared a room at a time. So that broke it down. It wasn't a whole house, it was a room at a time. But each room, there was so much stuff. And it's just like, you'd walk in and go, oh my God, I'm never going to get through all of this. It's just too much. It was too much for us to handle. So I said to him, let's do a box a day. And he was like, oh, no, we'll never get it done. I was like, let's do a box a day. And if you do a box a day, it doesn't feel like that much. It feels manageable. You might feel like you want to do more once you've done a box. But if you've said to yourself, I'm going to do a box a day, you're on the path to success. If you've got 5 boxes in that room, in a week you'll have done it and it won't feel like you've had to really push yourself that hard. It's the same with your revision. If you think I've got to revise the whole of English, then you're never going to do it. Whereas if you say, right, today I'm looking at my unseen poetry for half an hour, that you can do. That's doable. That's, you know, and then you're one step closer. That's one thing done, and it's only taken half an hour. And that's what the slight edge is. It's about doing a little bit. You know, if you can't do much, do a bit, you know. So this is really interesting. Okay, so there is 2 graphs. There's this graph here that is about, so it says success, survival, and failure. And success, survival, and failures. This one is going up and down like this, and this one's going up and down and then going up. So when people are looking down the barrel of failure in their lives, they will do whatever it takes to get themselves moving, something, anything, to start climbing upward toward the point of survival. And then once they get to the point where they're keeping their heads above water, they start heading back down again. As they start getting close enough to the failure line that they can see it coming, they go, whoops, I headed towards failure. And then they do whatever it takes to turn their trajectory around and start heading back up. And the cycle repeats. So you're going, failure, oh, I better do something. You start doing something, you get to survival, and then you start to let things slip a bit because things are okay. You start seeing that you're going to fail, so you do take some action, and then you go up. So you end up doing that. That's what I'd been doing, and that's what so many people do, living their entire lives like this, oscillating between failure and survival, striving towards success, and maybe even reaching the level of success, but then invariably turning back and heading downward again. We do this in our finances, in our health, in our relationships, and in our lives as a whole. Why? Well, you could say it's because we sabotage ourselves for all kinds of reasons. Our father was mean to us, so now we're mean to ourselves. We're conflicted because society sends us mixed messages. We've fallen into a pattern of self-sabotage because for some reason we don't feel we deserve success. And you know, maybe some of those things are true for you. Heck, maybe they're all true. I have no idea. And truthfully, I don't really care because none of that matters. The truth is, whatever other factors may or may not be there, the only reason we keep following this roller coaster of almost success and nearly failure, this sine wave of mediocrity, this curse of the average, is that we're missing one simple point. That was the point I stumbled on. As I began examining my success and failures, what I gradually realized was that the very same activities that had rescued me from failure, that had carried me from the failure line up to the survival line, would also rescue me from average and carry me from the survival line to the success line if I would just keep doing them. So that's what's going to get him from there to there. And that was exactly the point. That was exactly what I wasn't doing. Once I got a little way above survival and was starting to head up into the warmer waters of success, without realizing it or thinking about it, I would stop doing the things that had gotten me there. Naturally, I would then start sinking back down again, back down towards survival and beyond, back down towards the failure line. And I did that every time. Every time. That's the only reason our lives follow that roller coaster. It's that simple. As soon as we get away from failure and get up past the line of survival, we quit doing the things that got us there. You know what that means? It means you already know how to do everything it takes to make you an outrageous success. That's how you've survived up to this point. And if you can survive, then you can succeed. You don't need to do some brilliant, impossible thing. You don't need to learn some insanely difficult skills or have some genius level brainstorm of an innovative idea. All you have to do is keep doing the things that got you this far, which is exactly what 99.9% of people don't do. What those things are, why most people don't do them, and how you can live an outrageously happy and successful life by doing them is what this book is all about. So just reading something like that, like for me, even now, I've read this book a million times, and reading that bit again, every time you read it, it speaks something different to you. And for me, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've been trying to think of these major, huge things of success in my life. And actually, I just need to do what I'm already doing. I've already done really well and achieved some really great things. I just need to keep doing those things, which were things like looking for opportunities, finding new things, saying yes to new opportunities. With regard to your exams, if you know that doing revision, or when you get stuck that you look something up on Google and that works, do more of that. If you know that revising is really great for you with videos, don't do this thing that I've suggested and do it where you're summarizing, or you can do that, but do it from videos rather than from a textbook. Yeah. So do whatever works for you. But the point is, a little bit in the right direction is in the right direction. You're always going to be better than you were if you do a little bit, even if you don't do all of it. So if you read 10 minutes of something like that every morning before you went to school, before you were doing your revision, do you think that would motivate you a bit more? Certainly would with me, and it certainly makes me feel better. I feel like that's actually really encouraged me today. I feel a lot calmer now. Now this is a brilliant book, and this is called The Chimp Paradox. And this is because I took it on holiday and I dropped it in the pool. I was sitting at the side of the pool reading, and I went to take my drink and I went bloop, and it fell in the pool. So it's very well read. And this is a bit like a version of Inside Out, but for adults. And it's about how we have this chimp, which is a bit like our what's the word? A bit like the caveman that lives within us, right? But it's this little chimp, and it says that you should give your chimp a name. And your chimp is the one that's going, I don't want to play, or I don't want to do my revision. It's boring. You know, that little voice in you, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't, you know, we all have that, don't we? I still have that, definitely. Maybe that's just me. But we have these little voices in our head. Oh, I'll just finish my dinner. Oh, I'll just watch 5 minutes of TV. Oh, I'll just do this. Yeah, maybe your chimp is a bit like that. Maybe your chimp is actually like, you're not doing enough. You need to be revising more. You're going to fail your exams. You're doing, you know, whatever your chimp is telling you, it's usually quite harsh, and it's usually unhelpful. And we all have one. And the whole point about this is about this book is about learning about your chimp, your personal chimp, and what it says to you and how you can counteract or tame your chimp. Imagine it's this little pet. And the thing I think is really great about this is it teaches you that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are something separate to you, and you can, to some extent, change them so that you're not feeling so down and upset and horrible all the time, because a thought creates a feeling, and that creates an action. So if you think I'm tired, the feeling will be like, I'm tired, or the feeling might be like, I don't have the motivation. And the action is you don't do your revision. Whereas if the thought is, I'm tired, but I could do half an hour, the feeling is motivated, or the feeling is positivity or uplifted. And then the action is you do 15 minutes. Well, it's better than doing nothing, isn't it? Yeah. So with your chimp, it's lots of things. You can give it little rewards and things like that. So for example, I'm going to read to you about the banana reward. So for example, if your chimp, if you're like, I don't want to do my revision, you need to give your chimp, it's your chimp saying that you don't want to do the revision. You do want to do it, but your chimp is going, don't make us. So then you've got to think about, okay, listen, chimp, and you can give it a name. So listen, Bob the chimp. Listen, Bob, I know you don't want to do the revision, and I get it. I don't want to do it either. I'd far rather be outside or on social media or watching Neighbours or whatever. But if we do this, we're going to do better in our exams. And if you let me do this, then I'm going to let us have a bar of chocolate, or I'm going to let us, I don't know, have Friday night off and go out, or I'm going to let us watch Neighbours for 2 episodes instead of 1, or whatever it might be. Watch Married at First Sight, which I'm obsessed with. That's my reward for when I do my work. And the idea is that by rewarding this chimp, or yourself as part of the chimp, or the chimp being part of you, you are therefore then getting yourself to do the things you need to do to progress in life, as well as in just your exams. So here's another example of a 10-minute reading you could do. So this bit is the banana of reward. Giving rewards to your own chimp can be surprisingly powerful. For example, suppose you have to write 10 emails but can't get started and want to have your coffee. If you say to your chimp, when you've written 5 emails, you can have your coffee, It is not unusual for your chimp to suddenly give you the incentive to start the emails. This banana of having a cup of coffee at the end of 5 emails will make the chimp energized to get you to write the emails. The chimp will make you focus powerfully on the task and will help and not hinder you. This may seem bizarrely irrational, but then the chimp is irrational and the technique usually works. Common bananas for most chimps come in the form of praise or approval from other people. Most chimps look for recognition and approval from others. Therefore, to put this in place as a reward can be very powerful. For example, your room at home needs painting, and you know you want to get it painted, but you're struggling to get started. You can reward the chimp by phoning a friend and inviting them round to view the new paintwork in your room. It is no surprise that the chimp will jump up and make you paint the room because it wants the praise, and also because it doesn't want to look bad in front of the friend. Bananas can be a useful way to manage your chimp in the short term to get things done, or distract you from concerns, or allow you to have time out. They are generally not as powerful as boxing the chimp. That means trying to make the chimp be quiet, just ignoring it, because they don't usually tackle the cause of the problem. Okay. Then it says developing the human. In the battle and struggle for power between the human and the chimp on the divided planet, that's what it calls us, you mustn't forget yourself. You are a separate entity to your chimp. You as a human have needs, just as the chimp within you has needs. The human needs could be worked out by looking at the characteristic features of the human within. So we expect human fulfillment by constructive accomplishments, such as hobbies and interests that are not crucial to survival, but bring us satisfaction and a richness to our lives. Key point: chimps like to survive, humans like to have a purpose. Okay, there's only a little bit left. I'm just going to finish this chapter. When we have a sense of purpose in life, it brings with it a sense of meaning, and this in turn leads to achievement, satisfaction, and well-being. We will look at success and happiness in great detail later in the book, but here the message is that in order to look after your machine well, you are, everything about you is a machine, you must consider the needs of both the chimp and the human. All too often we stop at the chimp because it takes up our time and shouts the loudest. Summary key points. Do I want is the question to ask. No, do I want is the question to ask in order to recognize if your chimp is hijacking you. If the answer is no, then you're being hijacked. You are always responsible for your chimp. The chimp is 5 times stronger than you are. Nurture your chimp before you try to manage it. Manage your chimp, don't try to control it. There are 3 common ways to manage your chimp. Exercise. So you exercise your chimp by getting it to do things and get letting it. So for example, if you're feeling really angry and that chimp in you is going, have a go, say this, then if you just box your chimp, you're going to get pent up anger. Whereas if you actually speak up, but do it in a manageable way, you're exercising your chimp, you're allowing it to do what it needs to do. So if it jumps up and down, which is what we tend to do if we really lose the plot. You can box it, which means ignore it, and that's the last thing you want to do. And bananas, you can reward it and or incentivize it. So I think that's like your 10 minutes reading each day is something like that. Because that is going to just help you focus your mind and remember why you're doing all of this, why you're doing your exams, and give you the bigger picture. Okay. Right. Going back to our acronym for SAVERS, let me just share my screen again. Okay, so we've got reading, that's there. Silence, pretty standard. So 10 minutes of silence. Now you can do this with a track if you want. I would suggest with no vocals though. So maybe a meditation track. And the idea is mainly to sort of meditate really. But meditating is just silence. So just sitting for 10 minutes with nothing interrupting you, not doing anything, just 10 minutes. And every time a thought comes into your head, imagine popping it on a cloud and that cloud passing by, okay? Because if you've done your scribing at the beginning of that hour, then the thoughts that come in won't be urgent, and you'll have written down anything you're worried about forgetting. So you should find it easier to have that silence. Can you imagine 10 minutes of all those things and then going into your exam, and then going into your revision? What a different mindset and energy you will have. How much more receptive, how much calmer, how much more positive, how much happier you will be if you did that every morning. Now, that's given that you do it for an hour every morning. Even if you did each one of those for a minute, that's 6 minutes a day, that would make a difference to you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my very best today, if not today, by tomorrow. I'm going to make you a 6-minute video and a 60-minute video. And then all you need to do is play it, and it will tell you what to do your hour of power every day. Okay. And I'll put all these things in there, these little tips and tricks on what you need to do. Let me just cut that and put that over here. That should be really, really helpful to you and help you reprogram any negative thoughts or anything to help you feel, really happy with yourself. And that this exam period isn't something of dread, but it's actually something where you learn to do something that really helps you in stressful situations. And it will help you really manage your emotions and stuff as well. The other thing that I'd really strongly recommend you do is look at your nutrition, because what you put into your body and what happens in your gut and your gut lining has a direct correlation with the chemistry of your brain. So you need to be eating more protein. So this is diet and fitness. Diet and health, really. Fitness, doing 10 minutes exercise a day, that's definitely going to up that anyway. But more protein. So it doesn't have to be this whole massive change of diet, but could you increase your breakfast by having, sorry, I've got builders in, by having one protein bar added to your breakfast in each morning, or instead of something sugary? That's really going to help you not crash mid-morning and get tired. Can you add in some vegetables or fruit? I know there's a lot of things about fruit being, don't have too much fruit because there's citric acid and that's bad for you, and there's sugar, and nobody died or became obese from overeating fruit. So fruit is fine. And vegetables are even better if you can. Add one a day. If you normally have vegetables with your dinner, can you say to your mum, could you add an extra version of an extra different vegetable? If you've got peas that night, could you add some carrots? If you normally have normal potato, could you ask for what is it? The other potato. We have it all the time. I can't eat normal potatoes, so it's can't think. But the orangey potatoes, those ones. Oh my gosh. Because they're less starchy, they're not going to affect your stomach so much, won't make you feel so heavy, won't make you so tired, so you can then do a bit of revision after your dinner without feeling sluggish. Try and avoid caffeine where possible. So still have tea and coffee, but just switch to caffeine free. Drink more water. Your body is like 60 to 70% water. If you're not replenishing that water, you become dehydrated and your brain goes into survival mode and it struggles to think properly. So be drinking much more water. Try and think of, if you want to make a habit, pin a habit to a habit. So if you pin a habit to a habit, for example, could you drink a glass of water before every meal? That's going to up your water intake. Sorry, I can't spell glass apparently. Glass of water with every meal. Okay, that's going to up your water intake by 3 glasses of water a day. And okay, it's not 8 glasses of water a day, which is obviously the goal. But if it's going to be more than you're drinking right now, it's an improvement. It's the slight edge. It's that one step towards, that one step better. Don't worry about being perfect. Worry about being a little bit better, until you get to that point. Anything else I can think of? And obviously avoid refined carbs and sugars. That doesn't mean avoiding carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are good for you. It's just that you need to make sure that they're not the starchy ones where possible. So things like normal potatoes and that kind of stuff. Have your carbohydrates from vegetables and things like that if you can. And sugars, you know, can you swap? Can you, instead of having a bar of chocolate, could you have a chocolate protein bar? So you're not denying yourself, you're replacing, and that's how better habits are formed. Okay. So I hope that's all been really useful to you. I don't think I have anything to add to that. Sorry, the drills are going off. I'm sorry if you can hear them. So if you want to, you're welcome to unmute or whatever. I'm going to stop recording now, so that you feel free to